Hello and welcome to Warblog. Today we're going to look at the first battle of Idlib, 2012. I just picked this out of the hat, mainly because I was sort of reflecting on the whole Syria war. I'm not trying to focus on the Syria war, but I was just reflecting on it, so I'm going to maybe try and focus on the Iraq one next, maybe. And I was thinking, well, nothing spectacular, but when did it start? And this was one of the earliest conflicts. I don't actually know what the first one was, but essentially a whole bunch of Free Syrian Army units essentially captured Idlib, and then the Syrian army basically surrounded them and basically recaptured the city, and they did it with remarkable ease, really. What I'm maybe guessing is that I get a feeling that it was is a lot less intense. Obviously, it was the early days of the Civil War, and so they probably didn't really do a lot of damage to the city, in the sense that they probably didn't make massive defences, blocking off all the roads. I imagine that now it's probably heavily fortified, even though it's improvised fortification. So and I think that just from even the light reading, I just got the feeling that the Syrian army was sort of more sort of the opinion, well, okay, we've got to do this, let's get it over with, as opposed to sort of really contemplating that there was a lot worse to come. Let's go and get these naughty boys out of this city. I don't know what they thought the future held for them, but it certainly got a lot more complicated. So, I used this Archie Civilians to get all the names. It was pretty good, a little map with sort of names. Here's the first Battle of Idlib, and you can see there's the Syrian National Council who have taken over. I haven't put in the Syrian Liberation Army or the Mujahideen yet, and I probably won't because I'm a bit lazy. So I should really put in. Oh look, it pops up like that. I didn't know that. Time. And some Mujahideen Ara Asham. So anyway, we've got the Syrian army in there. To be quite honest, there doesn't seem to be much else. There's a lot of background. There's some initial shelling, then there's a ground assault. The interesting thing is that it sort of says that there were. I mean, that to me is equal numbers. Now, what I got a bit confused of here is this the 12th Armoured Brigade and the 45th Army Regiment, or is it the 45th Army Regiment of the 12th Armoured Brigade? I couldn't decide, so I sort of mixed and matched, and pretty much we've got all the 12th Armoured Brigade, and then we've got some infantry companies from the 45th Army Regiment. So I thought I'd sort of completed it, but obviously I haven't. So anyway, they started a lot of shelling, and now the shelling in this game is not that brilliant. I will be changing the rules so it'll be a bit more significant. Here's their stupid map, as I call it, because to me that doesn't really. I mean, if you're actually trying to figure it out, identified 11th of March, remained 12th of March, identified 11th of March, departed 12th of March. So the green and the red were all there on the 11th, but not all of them on the 12th. And on the blue, so the green one was always there, etc., etc. But yeah, it's sort of, I don't know. So maybe the focus of the attack was from this side. which is convenient because that's where I've put all the 45th Regiment. The significant thing about this, when I was looking at it, is this ring road or ring highway, and it actually, I was sort of thinking, well, that's actually pretty significant because you will be able to shift your troops probably around the city a lot faster than they can maneuver within the city, which is possibly possible, but I think the distance is such that it might not be massively possible. But you could certainly possibly swing from here, attacking there, to coming up here a lot quicker, really, or from there than they can get to there. Anyway, I don't know. I'm not going to do this more than 15 minutes. I'm just having a little twiddle, really. So, a couple of significant things to maybe point out. Obviously, they're irregulars, so they get to retreat. And this isn't a significant thing to point out, but the other thing that I sort of wanted to mention is that one of the reasons I sort of chose this, or one I noticed about this, is that Idlib is still under rebel control. So it's not under ISIS control, it's under rebel control. I don't know who. Currently at the moment 2016. And so they're going to have to fight this fight. And I don't know why they just don't give it up to save destroying the city, because that's what's going to happen. They'll end up bombing it and destroying a lot of infrastructure. But this battle is yet to come again, and I think they've fought over this a few times. Because obviously they won here, and then they lost because it's now rebel held. So I was going to do a whole series just on Idlib. I haven't really got past the first Idlib to know whether there's a second, third, fourth, fifth, or sixth. And again, I'm just sort of twiddling, really. I don't know. I have no idea exactly what I want to do. Okay, so he's got some movement. I'm going to have to move into desert. Well, might as well go for it. Now, I'm not going to get to the sort of stage where I'd like to get. I'm just having a little fiddle. But I think the thing with this is that, from a game perspective, the question is, how do you fight these units? It's not really much of a question. I mean, basically they're going to do a lot of retreating because they're irregulars. They'll just retreat and they won't get hurt, and that'll become a bit frustrating. So I was thinking, well, you could either surround it and then draw an ever-decreasing circle, or you could put a sweep. You could just sweep from north through to the south. And I'm just trying to think, how would that sort of strategy, or those choices of strategy, or how would the strategy have been actually carried out? Let's see what happens here, because I sort of don't know what the odds are. I'm not really thinking, I'm just twiddling. So well, there you go. 6-1, defender eliminated, but because they are irregulars, they retreated. with no damage. Yeah, I think I have sort of rushed into this a bit. What I do like to do is think a bit more, and my interest in getting a video done, I didn't really do that, but I think what I'm trying to get to here is what I should have done was prepare my forces for I think maybe a sweep this direction, almost as is sort of defined here, because they have a sort of they've got the border around here, but then the main force seems to sort of drive in that way. So I'm sort of doing the right thing, but I think it should be broader to stop them sort of retreating around. Now, one thing that is sort of interesting other than everything is that I can't remember what I was thinking. Oh yeah, that was it. It's funny, natural train of thought comes back when you give up trying to remember what you were thinking about. Is that the irregulars really can't attack. Now they will be able to attack when I finally get myself together and do the irregular assault mechanism, which, if you don't know, means that they would attack at strength 5 because they're irregular. Anything under 5, so they could attack that, they could attack everything on this board at strength 5, so they'd be pretty tough. They would be very tough. They wouldn't be able to combine all of that. So we're sort of facing that unit off. We're preparing for an assault here with some artillery support. We're facing that unit off, although I think maybe we could attack that due to the limited time. And just as a sort of secondary point, these units here, I put those there deliberately to give the Free Syrian Army some reserve. So these are sort of, well, they could go that way, you know, when it's their turn. If 2 minutes, probably not going to get there. Let's just see what we can do with this unit. Now, when calculating their factors, remember there's armour against infantry, so they should get a bigger bonus. I'm not including the artillery there. 3 to 1 in exchange. That was a terrible die roll. So that was worse for the Syrian army than it was the Free Syrian army. Okay, well that's more like it. 3 to 1, same odds. A defender eliminated, but obviously he retreated. So it's quite interesting. He's still got some movement, so I will move there. I think that's it. I'm not going to do the other turn. I think it's the sort of game where you have to sort of think a little deeper. But I'm going to go back now and I'm going to add those other units just because I want to give it a bit of flair, a bit more historic accuracy. I hope you enjoy that. If you fancy playing, then you can sign up and go yourself.